The darkness of space stretched endlessly, a canvas of stars shimmering faintly in the cold void. Among the glittering dots, a massive alien fleet moved with confidence, a long line of sleek, sharp-edged warships glinting under distant starlight. They were the Valtherians, a proud and powerful species that ruled this part of the galaxy. Their fleets had crushed planets, devoured civilizations, and left nothing but ash in their wake. To them, humans were nothing more than a curiosity, tiny creatures barely capable of reaching space. Ahead, almost lost in the black, floated a small group of ships. They were old, battered, and seemingly forgotten by time. The humans called it the Relic fleet. Rust covered its hulls, engines looked ancient, and the warships creaked like old trees in a storm. From the alien perspective, it was laughable. "Look at them," sneered Admiral Zethra, his sharp eyes scanning the tiny fleet. "This is what they call an army? Pathetic." A ripple of laughter moved through the alien bridge. Officers tapped control panels and swiveled their heads, examining the human fleet with a mixture of amusement and disbelief. One of them, a young commander named Varn, laughed so hard he almost spilled his drink. "They think they can challenge us with this junk?" Varn said, shaking his head. "We could destroy them with a single shot." But not all the aliens were so confident. A few quieter voices whispered uneasily. Something was off. Even from this distance, a faint glimmer came from the human ships, tiny sparks that danced like fireflies along the hulls. They were barely noticeable, but they were there. Zethra waved the concern aside. Minor energy readings. Probably failing engines. Nothing more. His voice was sharp, dismissive, as if brushing away the hint of fear. The human fleet, meanwhile, floated in eerie silence. Crew members moved inside the ships with precision, no panic, no noise. They were calm, almost too calm, considering the massive alien armada approaching. Captain Elias of the human fleet stood on the bridge of the lead ship, the HMS Resolute, watching the stars and the growing alien ships through the viewport. "They think we are weak," Elias muttered. "Let them laugh. Let them come closer." Around him, officers nodded quietly, their faces calm but determined. The crew had trained for this moment for years, and their confidence was not empty. Deep inside their warships, hidden technology hummed quietly, waiting for the right moment. The Relic fleet was old in appearance, but it held secrets no alien could guess. The aliens edged closer, their laughter growing louder as they prepared to strike. Smaller human ships creaked and groaned as their engines idled. The Valtherians thought of it as weakness, proof of the humans' inferiority. Admiral Zethra ordered a closer formation. "Open your weapons. Let us show them the futility of their existence." As the alien fleet advanced, a faint glow flickered along the sides of the human ships. Most of the aliens didn't notice. Varn caught it out of the corner of his eye. "Did you see that?" he asked, pointing to the slight light along the hull of one of the human cruisers. Zethra looked, but only shrugged. "Old ships. Weak engines. That is all." Varn frowned. Something about the light did not sit right. It pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat. The thought made him uneasy, but he pushed it aside. No human ship could match a Valtherian cruiser in battle. Yet, in the darkness of space, appearances were deceptive. The Relic fleet waited, silent and unyielding, as the alien armada loomed closer. Inside the human ships, systems stirred quietly as if waking from a long sleep. Weapon systems hummed softly, shields shimmered faintly, and engines released tiny bursts of energy. On the HMS Resolute, Captain Elias gave a small nod. The fleet had waited for this moment. The humans were ready to show the universe that old does not mean weak. That rusty ships could hide deadly firepower. The aliens, meanwhile, continued their mocking. They didn't see the tension building, the power gathering. They did not realize that their laughter was the calm before the storm. And then, somewhere deep in the human fleet, a single light flared brighter, catching the attention of Varn once more. This time he could not ignore it. His laugh died in his throat. Something was happening, something the aliens had not predicted. "Admiral," Varn whispered, eyes wide. I don't understand. That ship, it's glowing. Something is wrong." Zethra's hand froze over the control panel. The alien fleet was moments from mocking their so-called enemies. Moments from proving the humans were weak. But as the glow intensified across the human fleet, an uneasy silence fell over the Valtherian armada. And in the darkness, far from any sun, the first warning had come. The Relic fleet was awakening. The galaxy had no idea what was about to happen next. The stars stretched endlessly around the small human fleet, their faint light reflecting off the worn hulls of the Relic fleet. From the outside, the ships seemed fragile, relics of a long-forgotten era of human space travel. Rust streaked their sides and the engines looked old, barely capable of leaving orbit. But appearances, as the universe was about to learn, could be deceiving. Inside the HMS Resolute, Captain Elias walked the bridge with quiet determination. His eyes scanned the readouts and the viewport, where the massive alien fleet glimmered in the distance. He could feel the weight of the moment, yet his steps were calm, measured. Every member of his crew mirrored his composure. "Status report," Elias said. All officers spoke in low, precise tones. "Shields at maximum efficiency, weapon systems on standby, engine cores stable but primed." Every system hummed quietly, the sound almost soothing in the tense silence of the ship. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mira, his communications officer, "the aliens are moving closer. Their formations are tight. They expect an easy victory." Elias nodded. "Let them think that. They are fools if they believe this is a relic fleet without life." On the bridge, crew members worked with practiced efficiency, each aware of their role, each trusting the others implicitly. The alien fleet laughed in the distance, their mocking signals carried across space. The humans heard nothing of it, they only heard the quiet hum of their own engines, the pulse of hidden power beneath old metal. Outside, the smallest human ships began to vibrate subtly, almost imperceptibly as internal systems awakened. Hidden energy cores glowed faintly beneath armored hulls, faint pulses lighting up their interiors like heartbeat signals. These ships, old to the naked eye, held technology that could outmatch the alien fleet many times over. Lieutenant Mira moved to the communications console. "Captain, the alien fleet is scanning us. They expect nothing unusual." Elias allowed himself a small smile. "Good. Let them be comfortable. Complacency will be their downfall." Across the human fleet, engines hummed stronger. Energy shields flickered with faint blue light, almost invisible yet powerful. Weapon systems, disguised as old turrets and cannons, aligned with precision. The relic fleet seemed alive in a way the aliens could not detect. Far away, in the alien armada, Admiral Zethra reviewed the small human fleet with a growing sense of superiority. "They are laughable," he said. "This is what humans send against the might of Valtheria?" Varn, his young commander, frowned, though he hid it. "Admiral, something is strange. The smaller ships, their energy readings? I don't understand it. Very faint but consistent." Zethra waved him off. "Old ships. Weak engines. Nothing to worry about. Focus on our formations. Target them and destroy them." Back on the HMS Resolute, Captain Elias walked past the observation deck. Crew members worked silently, unaware of the alien laughter. There was no fear here. Only focus. Only readiness. He stopped in front of the main console, placing his hand lightly on the controls. A signal, almost imperceptible, ran through the fleet. A quiet hum grew into a soft pulse, rippling across the ships. Energy cores beneath the metal hulls responded, awakening fully. The human fleet was alive, preparing for what the galaxy would soon call a miracle. In one of the smaller ships, a young gunner named Rena checked her weapons panel. "Engines stable," she whispered to herself. "Shields online, weapons ready." She paused, watching the stars through the viewport. "Let them come," she said quietly, almost as if speaking to the universe itself. "We are ready." The tension in the human fleet was almost imperceptible to the aliens. Outwardly, the ships appeared weak, old, and helpless. Yet inside, every system was alive, every crew member alert. Even the smallest human ship could destroy a Valtherian cruiser if it struck with precision. In the alien armada, the laughter began to fade, replaced by subtle unease. Some officers noticed the faint blue glow from the human ships, flickering like distant fireflies. Others saw subtle energy signatures pulsing from engines and weapons. But Zethra dismissed them as minor anomalies. "They are relics," he said firmly. "Do not let them distract you. They cannot threaten us." But deep inside, Varn could not shake the feeling that the humans were hiding something. Something dangerous. His hand trembled slightly as he adjusted the ship's targeting system. "Admiral, I don't like this," he whispered almost to himself. Elias, on the HMS Resolute, gave a final nod to his crew. They understood. The time for silence and calm would soon end. The relic fleet had waited long enough. Its moment was coming. And in the vast darkness of space, among the stars and shadows, the calm before the storm stretched on. The alien fleet thought it had nothing to fear. The human fleet, however, held secrets that could shake the galaxy. The first pulse of true power had begun quietly. Soon it would roar. The alien fleet moved with confidence, their sleek ships cutting through the emptiness of space like sharp blades. They had laughed at the human Relic fleet for hours, mocking the old rusty ships as if they were toys. To them the battle was already won. The galaxy had no place for humanity's tiny, ancient fleet. "Prepare to engage," Admiral Zethra ordered. "Show them the might of Valtheria. Their fleet will crumble in seconds." Varn, his young commander, glanced at the tiny human ships ahead. His eyes narrowed. Something was wrong. There was a faint glow along the hulls of the Relic ships. It pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Varn shook his head. "They're moving strangely," he said. "I don't understand. Their engines' energy readings are stronger than before." Zethra waved his concern away. "Minor fluctuations. Old ships tend to behave oddly. Focus on our attack plan." But Varn could not ignore it. The glow was growing. It wasn't random. It moved with precision as if the ships were alive, waiting for the right moment. The more he stared, the more uneasy he felt. On the human side, the crew worked silently. No panic, no fear. Captain Elias stood on the HMS Resolute's bridge, calm and focused. Every officer moved efficiently, checking systems and weapons, preparing for the moment they had trained for. "Energy cores are stable," said Lieutenant Mira, her voice quiet but confident. "Weapons and shields are ready." Elias nodded. "Good. They think we are weak. Let them think. Complacency will be their downfall." In the distance, the alien fleet's laughter continued, but a subtle tension began to creep in. A few officers glanced nervously at the pulsing lights of the human ships. "They are too quiet," whispered one alien officer. "And their engines, the energy output is unusual." Zethra frowned. "They are relics. Old ships. There is nothing to worry about." Yet doubt began to stir among some of the aliens. Varn could not ignore the patterns he saw in the humans' movements. They were not chaotic or random. They were careful, precise, almost deliberate. Every ship aligned perfectly, forming patterns that made little sense until you understood they were preparing for something big. The human fleet waited patiently, letting the alien ships approach. Inside, systems hummed softly, energy flowing through hidden cores. Weapons lay dormant but fully charged. Shields shimmered faintly, almost invisible to the alien scanners. Varn's eyes widened as he noticed a small human destroyer suddenly glow brightly along its engine lines. The pulse spread slowly across its hull, as if waking from a deep sleep. "Admiral," Varn said, his voice tense now, "something is happening. That ship, its energy levels are rising. And the others, look at them." Zethra slammed his fist on the console. "Focus. Do not be distracted by minor anomalies. They are weak. Remember that." But even Zethra could feel the tension in the fleet. The glow along the human ships was subtle but undeniable. It pulsed in unison as if the fleet itself was breathing, alive and ready. In a smaller human ship, Gunner Rena checked her weapons systems again. Her ship had been considered outdated, useless against a Valtherian cruiser. But hidden within its hull were advanced energy cannons, ready to fire with deadly accuracy. She smiled faintly. The humans had waited long enough. Varn's unease grew as he scanned more of the human fleet. "Captain, they are not what we expected. I think they are preparing for something. Something dangerous." Zethra's jaw tightened. He hated the feeling, hated the doubt creeping into his mind. But he forced himself to focus. "We will see soon enough. Prepare to fire on my command." Across the void, the human fleet remained calm. The pulse of energy grew steadily, almost like a heartbeat, hidden under the appearance of old metal and worn engines. They were ready. Every ship, every crew member, every weapon system was waiting for the exact moment to strike. The tension stretched like a wire across the stars. The aliens had expected an easy victory, a simple battle against weak, outdated ships. Instead, uncertainty had begun to creep into their fleet. Even their strongest officers were uneasy. Captain Elias watched the aliens closely, calm and silent. "Let them think they are safe," he said softly to his officers. "Soon they will learn that we are not relics. We are the storm they never saw coming." In the alien armada, Varn whispered again, almost to himself, "This is wrong. Something is about to happen. I can feel it." Zethra ignored him. Yet even he could feel it now, a subtle shift in the void, a quiet tension that grew heavier with every passing second. The Relic fleet was alive, and soon the aliens would learn that appearances could be deadly deceptive. And in the cold, endless darkness of space, the calm before the storm stretched on. The human fleet waited, patient and silent, their hidden power pulsing like a heart ready to roar. The galaxy was about to witness the awakening of a fleet thought to be powerless. The quiet hum of the human fleet grew louder, almost like a heartbeat echoing through the empty void. The Relic fleet floated among the stars, still appearing old and fragile, yet something had changed. Deep within the hulls of each ship, energy coursed like liquid fire, hidden systems awakening after centuries of dormancy. Captain Elias stood on the bridge of the HMS Resolute, eyes sharp and calm. The alien fleet loomed ahead, their laughter still echoing faintly in the distance, though now tinged with unease. The Valtherians had begun to notice the strange energy spikes, but they did not yet understand their magnitude. "Prepare to activate," Elias ordered softly. The crew moved with precision. Energy cores flared to life, casting a faint blue glow across the bridge. Weapon systems hummed, shields shimmered faintly around each ship, and engines released bursts of hidden power. The Relic ships were no longer relics. They were alive, deadly, and ready. Outside, the alien fleet maintained its formation, unaware of the transformation occurring before their eyes. Even Admiral Zethra, confident and proud, did not see the full extent of the power awakening in the small human fleet. Then it began. A low, deep roar echoed across the human ships. Engine lines glowed bright as if the fleet itself had taken a breath and exhaled with force. One by one the human warships lit up with energy. Weapons systems activated with a soft, sinister hum. Turrets moved smoothly, shields expanded, and engines flared with bursts of light, powerful enough to dwarf their appearance. Varn, observing from his alien cruiser, froze. His eyes widened. "Admiral, their fleet, it's alive. I've never seen anything like this." Zethra turned, his eyes narrowing. "Impossible. They are relics. They cannot." But before he could finish, a beam of intense energy shot from the HMS Resolute, striking the nearest alien cruiser. The impact was precise, devastating, and completely unexpected. The Valtherian ship shuddered violently before exploding in a burst of fire and metal. Shouts echoed across the alien fleet. Panic replaced arrogance. Officers scrambled to adjust targeting systems, trying to comprehend the impossible. How did they? Varn stammered, unable to find words. The human fleet moved as one. Ships that had seemed fragile now glided through space with deadly precision. Engines glowed, weapons fired, and the relics, long dismissed as useless, attacked in perfect coordination. Laser beams cut through the darkness, hitting alien ships with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions lit the void, reflecting off the stars like fireworks in a night sky. Captain Elias stood firm on the bridge. "All units, fire at will. Focus on their formation. Do not hold back." The HMS Resolute fired again, followed by the smaller ships. Each attack was calculated, surgical, leaving alien officers stunned. They had expected humans to flee, to surrender, to be destroyed quickly. Instead, the humans had awakened a storm. Varn gripped his console. "Admiral, retreat? We should." Zethra's face twisted in fury. "No. We are Valtheria. We do not retreat." But even his voice could not hide the growing fear. Alien ships were being torn apart faster than they could respond. Explosions rocked their formation, tearing through hulls and engines. The human fleet, once laughed at, now dominated the battlefield with terrifying efficiency. On one of the smaller human destroyers, Rena smiled as her ship fired its hidden energy cannons. The alien cruiser before her shuddered and exploded. "Take that," she whispered quietly. Across the fleet, every human ship followed the same plan. Every crew member knew their role, every weapon functioned as designed. The Relic fleet had waited long, hidden in plain sight, and now it had awoken with full fury. The alien fleet faltered. The laughter that had mocked humanity hours ago was gone. Panic and confusion spread quickly among their ranks. The Valtherians had faced many enemies but nothing like this. Tiny old ships, thought to be weak, had turned into a force of unimaginable power. Captain Elias watched the destruction calmly. "Maintain formation. Do not underestimate them. Strike decisively." The HMS Resolute and its fleet continued their advance, lasers and energy beams cutting through the alien armada. One by one enemy ships fell, their confidence shattered. Even from a distance the galaxy could witness the power of the human fleet. What had once seemed weak, old, and fragile now roared across the stars, unstoppable and precise. In the heart of the chaos, Varn could only watch in horror. We underestimated them. Completely. Zethra clenched his fists. "Impossible. This cannot be happening." But it was happening. The Relic fleet had awakened. And it would not stop. The first strike was just the beginning. The void of space erupted in chaos. The human Relic fleet, once mocked and dismissed as weak, now moved with deadly precision. Beams of energy streaked across the stars, striking alien ships with surgical accuracy. Explosions rocked the Valtherian fleet, sending fire and debris spinning into the dark nothingness. Captain Elias stood on the bridge of the HMS Resolute, calm amidst the storm. Every officer and crew member followed their orders flawlessly. They had trained for this moment for years, hidden within ships that the galaxy had written off as old and powerless. "Report," Elias said, his voice steady. Lieutenant Mira checked the tactical board. "First wave successful, Captain. 3 cruisers destroyed, 2 more heavily damaged. Alien formations are breaking." Elias nodded. "Good. Continue the attack. Focus on their strongest units. Don't let them regroup." Across the battlefield, human ships darted like predators. Their engines glowed brightly, shields shimmered, and hidden weaponry unleashed waves of destruction. Every strike was coordinated, every movement planned. Varn, aboard his alien cruiser, watched in horror. "Admiral, they're organized. Every ship is in perfect formation. Their attacks, precise. How is this possible?" Admiral Zethra's face twisted in anger and disbelief. "They are relics. Old, weak, they should be nothing. Stop them." But words could not change reality. Alien ships that had laughed hours ago were now burning, exploding, or fleeing. Smaller human destroyers took on cruisers twice their size, disabling shields and engines with ease. On one of these smaller ships, gunner Rena aimed her energy cannons at a massive alien battleship. She fired a precise volley, and the cruiser shuddered under the impact. Sparks flew along its hull, alarms blaring inside. Rena's ship moved quickly, avoiding counterattacks. She smiled. "They never expected this," she whispered. Elsewhere, human engineers monitored shields and energy cores. Every system was functioning perfectly, far beyond what the aliens imagined possible. Hidden weapons, long thought obsolete, now fired with deadly accuracy. The so-called relic ships were revealing their true strength. The alien fleet struggled to respond. Their advanced targeting systems could not keep up with the speed and precision of the human attacks. Panic spread among the ranks as formations collapsed and cruisers were destroyed one by one. Varn's hands shook as he tried to issue commands. "We need to regroup. Focus fire on the lead ship." Zethra slammed his fist against the console. "No. Do not let them dictate the battle. Push forward." But it was too late. The human fleet had the initiative, striking first and striking hard. Every alien move was anticipated, every attack countered. It was as if the fleet itself was alive, responding as one organism. On the HMS Resolute, Captain Elias watched as the alien flagship tried to maneuver out of range. He gave the order. "All units target the command ship. Concentrate fire." Energy beams converged on the alien flagship, striking simultaneously from multiple directions. The ship groaned under the assault before a massive explosion tore through its hull. Pieces of metal and fire spun into the void, leaving nothing but emptiness behind. The destruction of the flagship shocked the remaining alien vessels. Confidence shattered, fear replaced arrogance. Many tried to retreat, while others scrambled to defend themselves. But the human fleet pressed relentlessly. Elias gave the command to maintain pressure. "No breaks. Every ship continue the strike. Show them what the Relic fleet can do." Even from a distance, the power of the human fleet was undeniable. They were not weak. They were not relics. They were a force of precision, courage, and hidden technology unleashed at the perfect moment. Varn's voice trembled. "Admiral, we underestimated them. Completely. They are more than we thought." Zethra's eyes burned with rage. "They will pay for this. Push all remaining units forward. Destroy them." But it was too late. The humans had the momentum. Each strike left the alien fleet weaker, scattered, and vulnerable. The battle had turned completely. The mocked relics had become the hunters, and the mighty Valtherians were on the defensive. In the calm before the next wave of attacks, Captain Elias allowed himself a small nod. The fleet had struck first, struck hard, and shown its true power. But the war was far from over. The aliens still had numbers, still had firepower. Yet one thing was certain: the relic fleet had awoken, and the galaxy would never again underestimate humanity. The remnants of the alien fleet floundered in the chaos of space. What had once been a confident armada, ready to crush humanity's relic fleet, was now disoriented, scrambling to regroup. Explosions lit the void like stars falling from the heavens, and the few surviving cruisers moved frantically, attempting to form a defensive line. Captain Elias of the HMS Resolute watched calmly as his fleet moved like a single organism. Each ship anticipated the other's movements, their engines pulsing with energy, weapons aligned, shields glowing. Every human maneuver was precise, calculated, and deadly. "Focus on their strongest units," Elias ordered. "Take out the largest ships first. Do not give them a chance to regroup." Lieutenant Mira quickly plotted attack coordinates. "Captain, their battleships are trying to reform a shield line. If we attack together, we can break through and isolate them." "Do it," Elias replied. "Strike now." The human fleet surged forward. Smaller destroyers darted between the alien cruisers, hitting weak points and shields with coordinated strikes. Larger human ships unleashed concentrated volleys, energy beams cutting through alien hulls like blades through cloth. The alien fleet could barely respond in time. Varn, aboard one of the few surviving alien cruisers, gritted his teeth. "Admiral, they are outmaneuvering us. Every attack is anticipated." Admiral Zethra slammed his fist on the control panel. "Impossible. These are relics. Old, weak, meaningless ships. How can they?" A massive human cruiser suddenly appeared from behind a smaller group of alien ships, its engines glowing bright blue. It fired a precise energy beam that struck the alien flagship squarely in the center. The explosion rocked the alien formation, sending smaller ships spinning out of control. "Captain, it's amazing," Varn whispered, unable to hide his fear. "They are not just fighting, they are dominating." On the human side, Gunner Rena fired another volley from her destroyer, taking down a heavily armored cruiser. She smiled faintly. "One less problem," she whispered. The small ship that had seemed weak hours ago was now lethal, every shot calculated, every move deadly. Elias watched as the aliens tried to regroup. He could see panic spreading among their ranks. They had expected an easy victory. They had expected to crush humanity quickly. Instead, their fleet was collapsing under the precise, coordinated assault of the so-called relics. "Prepare the next strike," Elias said calmly. "Target the remaining battleships. Focus fire. End this quickly." Lieutenant Mira adjusted the targeting systems. "Coordinates locked, Captain. Weapons ready." The human fleet moved like lightning, engines glowing, energy beams striking in perfect synchronization. Alien ships that tried to flee were caught in crossfire. One by one, cruisers exploded, leaving only debris and drifting wrecks behind. Varn's hands shook as he watched the destruction. "Admiral, we underestimated them. Completely. We..." "Silence," Zethra roared. "We will not lose to humans. Activate the last reserves." But it was too late. The humans had momentum, and the alien reserves could not recover in time. The Relic fleet, once thought weak and fragile, had turned the battle completely in their favor. Even the largest alien ships, which should have been untouchable, struggled against the coordinated human attack. Energy beams from multiple ships struck at once, shields overloaded, engines disabled. The aliens had never faced an enemy who fought with such precision, cunning, and calm. Elias allowed a small nod of approval. The fleet had done well, but he knew the battle was not over. Some alien ships still survived, and the Valtherians were dangerous. But humanity now had the upper hand. "Hold formation," Elias said. "Do not give them a chance to recover. Press the advantage." The human ships surged forward, their engines blazing, weapons firing, and shields glowing. The alien fleet faltered, losing ships faster than they could replace them. Confidence and arrogance had been replaced by fear and desperation. Varn's voice trembled again. "Captain, they are unstoppable. Every move we make, they anticipate it. We cannot beat them." Zethra's hands shook as he tried to issue commands. "We are Valtheria. We cannot lose." But even he knew the truth. The humans, underestimated for centuries, had turned the tide of battle. The Relic fleet was no longer weak, no longer relics. They were a force to be feared, precise, cunning, and deadly. And as the human fleet advanced, glowing with power and purpose, one truth became clear. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for the last time. The tide had turned. The Relic fleet was in command of the battlefield. The void of space had never felt so silent. Where the alien armada had once moved with pride and arrogance, there was now chaos. Explosions and energy beams had faded, leaving drifting wreckage and the faint glow of fires slowly dying among the stars. Captain Elias of the HMS Resolute stood on the bridge, calm and steady. His eyes scanned the battlefield, taking in the aftermath. The Relic fleet, once mocked and dismissed as old and weak, now floated like a sentinel of power and precision. Every ship glowed faintly with residual energy, engines humming softly, shields shimmering in quiet triumph. "Status report," Elias commanded. Lieutenant Mira responded, her voice steady but tinged with awe. "Most alien ships destroyed, Captain. The survivors are retreating. Our fleet sustained minimal damage. Weapons and shields are fully operational." A quiet cheer went up among the crew. 4 hours they had faced an enemy far stronger in numbers and reputation. Yet the humans had prevailed. The galaxy had witnessed the power of the Relic fleet. Old ships hiding devastating technology, crewed by humans who were brave, precise, and fearless. Far away the remaining alien ships fled. Admiral Zethra's pride was shattered. His once confident armada had been broken by what he had called relics. He watched helplessly as the humans claimed victory, their tactics, precision, and hidden power unmatched. Varn, his young commander, stared in disbelief. "Captain, they are beyond anything we imagined. The fleet, it's alive." Zethra clenched his fists, fury and humiliation battling within him. "This cannot be the end, they cannot, humans." But it was the end for now. The human fleet had proven itself. The Relic fleet was no longer weak, no longer mocked, no longer underestimated. On the HMS Resolute, Elias turned to his officers. "Hold formation. Maintain readiness. We cannot predict if the aliens will return." "Yes, Captain," Mira replied. The human ships floated among the stars, engines glowing faintly, systems humming with quiet power. Each ship had survived, each crew member had fought with courage, and the Relic fleet had awakened in full glory. Even as the alien survivors fled, whispers of fear spread across their species. Stories would be told of the humans who had defeated the mighty Valtherian armada with so-called Relic ships. The galaxy would remember the name of humanity, not as weak but as a force to be reckoned with. Captain Elias gazed out at the stars. Somewhere beyond the horizon, other threats awaited. Other alien powers would come, curious or hostile. Yet one thing was certain: humanity had shown its true strength. They would not be laughed at again. A faint glow appeared on the HMS Resolute, one of the hidden energy cores pulsing softly. It was a reminder that even more power lay dormant within the fleet. Weapons, engines, and technology that had not yet been fully revealed waited patiently for the next battle. "Captain," Lieutenant Mira said softly, "our fleet, it's ready for whatever comes next." Elias nodded, a small smile on his face. "Good. Let them come. The galaxy will learn that we are not relics. We are the storm they never saw coming." Above the calm, the stars stretched endlessly. The wreckage of the alien fleet floated silently, a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and precision. The Relic fleet, though appearing old and fragile, had roared to life and changed the course of the battle, and perhaps the future of the galaxy. And in the shadows beyond the stars, there were whispers of a greater power, still hidden within the fleet.